Hey guys, Raya here. I'm coming at you today with a bit more of a serious video, but it's just something that I really need to talk to you guys about. I've kind of been nervous to make this video, but I just know I need to talk about it. So here we go. So if any of you guys have been following the media, then you know that a lot of women in Hollywood have spoken up recently about sexual harassment and sexual assault that they have gone through in their field of work. And from that, a movement has kind of started where so many women, countless women, are sharing their own experiences of sexual harassment and assault on social media and stuff with the hashtag #MeToo. And the point of this is to start a conversation and to show how common it is and just what a huge problem it really is. And for a while, I was hesitant to join the conversation because none of my experiences have really been as extreme as so many of the experiences of so many of the women who have been sharing. But that's the problem, because so much that has happened to me is really not okay, but it's also happened to so many people that I know that I was like telling myself that it wasn't worth talking about just because it happened so often. But that's why I need to talk about it. So specifically, what I want to talk about is my experience at university or college if you're in America. And this was actually a conversation I had months ago. Over the summer, I was talking to someone and they brought up some of their experiences that they went through when they were at university, and just how so many of those experiences were sexual harassment, but how they didn't realize that they were at the time. And when they were sharing these things, I felt like I couldn't speak for a few minutes, because it was just hitting me that so much of what I went through was sexual harassment or sexual assault, but I didn't even process it as that at the time or until at that moment. And it's just like when it hit me that it was, I realized how messed up and not okay it was, and how this needs to be talked about more, and how big of a problem it is, especially for that period of time. So some of the things that I specifically went through, a lot of it was around partying or going out, but I barely drank and I didn't really go to any big clubs. I went to university in London, but pretty much any time me and my friends went out, it was at our university bar night where it was only for students. And at the time I was like, oh, I'm gonna be way more safe here because there won't be any of the creepy old guys that are normally at clubs. But so much happened to me even in a more safe environment. From basically every single night that I went out, I was touched inappropriately. Someone would grab my butt or my boobs or try to kiss me, literally push themselves on me, or if I'd be walking past them, they'd pull me down on their lap and try to kiss me, or whatever it was, just very aggressively hitting on me or whatever. But yeah, it happened every single time, and it happened to so many of my friends, and we were almost justifying it and normalizing it, and we would all get back and be like, that guy again, that creepy guy that touched your butt last week, touched my butt this week or whatever. And we just didn't really process how much of what happened to us was messed up. And yeah, if any of that happened to me now, I would be very vocal about what was happening. And at the moment that it was happening and after it was happening, I would tell people, and I would tell police if necessary, or security, or whatever it was. But at the time, it just didn't even occur to me. It was like, oh yeah, just another normal night out. And some of the things that were happening were scary and could have gone really badly. One of the experiences that I remember, we were having a flat party. We were all sharing a flat or whatever, dorms, but we all had our own private bedroom with bathroom, and we had a shared kitchen and living room. So we had a big party, everyone invited a few friends, and I just went back to my room to, change or go to the bathroom or whatever, and this guy, one of my flatmates' friends, this big rugby guy, came into my room and started making out with me, basically, pushed himself on me, and I had to say no quite a few times and physically push him basically out of my room for him to leave. And I'm grateful that he did leave, because if he tried to push it further, I don't know what would have happened, and I don't know if people would have been able to hear me over the music or whatever, but yeah, thinking about it now, I get really scared at what could have potentially happened. But at the time, I remember I went next door to my friend's room and I told her about it, and she was like, oh yeah, after your room he came into my room and tried to like make out with me too, and I had to push him out. And we kind of laughed it off at how like creepy he was, but it's so messed up and it's so not okay. So many of these stories just keep coming to mind, and the really, really scary thing that I've been talking about since I left university is the fact that I was the only person out of all of my friends who didn't get roofied. And I think the only reason that I didn't is because I couldn't afford to buy drinks at the bar. So if I drank, I would drink a little bit at home and that was it. And that's usually when it happens, when you're holding a drink, that someone drops something in it. But like, how insane is that? Every single woman that I know was drugged, and thankfully, oh my god, I'm so grateful that none of my friends, like nothing really bad happened to any of them, and so many of them were able to feel that something was off. We were able to get them home, or they were able to get home themselves. I just don't know how this isn't talked about more, and how it just wasn't a conversation at university to be more aware of these things that might be happening to you and to know what to do about it. And I feel like maybe even if we were just more aware that what was happening to us was sexual harassment, honestly, even like putting those words together makes such a big difference for me, because I think if I'd realized it at the time, I would have been more vocal and been more like open about how not okay it was, because maybe a lot of these guys didn't realize how much of a problem it was, because women weren't really like fighting back and showing them that it wasn't okay. But we really need to be doing that, and we need to be telling people, we need to be telling security, we need to be, maybe if all these women told people at our schools, at our universities, then maybe we would all have like a more open conversation about it and be more aware of it. But I just really needed to like open this conversation and start talking about it, and especially because if any of you are going to college or in college or know someone who is, please share this video with them, because we all need to be so aware of what's happening to us, and just know that no one should ever be allowed to touch you without your consent, ever. And the fact that it just happens so often, and we kind of act like it's okay, it needs to change, and it needs to change now. And yeah, I needed to open this conversation up and just get talking about it, because I wish I'd watched a video like this when I was at university, because I think I would have had a different experience. Yeah. Stay safe, guys. Love you.